Hello and thank you for joining me on another video. I never do take it for granted that you make time to watch the videos that we provide on here, and I must thank you once again for joining me. I hope you find your time on here useful, and let me ask that if you are new to this channel or you haven't yet subscribed, then it would be very helpful to this channel if you do subscribe. So if you are yet to subscribe, can I encourage you to subscribe, to hit the notification button so that you will be the first to know whenever we upload videos like this. But thank you once again. Now, in this video, I talk about one of the most important characteristics of successful people, and the fact that all successful people are dependable. So I'm talking about the subject, the topic of dependability. Dependability and how to be dependable. To start with, let me establish what dependability means. What at all does it mean when we say that somebody or something is reliable? Now, when somebody is reliable, then that person can be counted on and trusted to do something. So you can, literally speaking, depend on them. They would be there when they say they would be there, and they would be there when they are expected to be there. Zig Ziglar says something quite important, and I quote, that ability is important in our quest for success, but dependability is critical. And this somewhat summarizes nearly everything I'm going to say. But in our quest to be successful, in our desire, our talents are important, but more important is the dependability, the fact that people can count on us. So whether we are employees or self-employed consultants or whatever, the further people can count on us to deliver the results is what is important, not so much your skill. So if you are skilled, probably the best person in something, and you cannot deliver the results when you have to, then it is pointless, and not many people will be attracted towards you and your custom. Applied to people, dependable people are not only always there, but they are also punctual. And if we are not dependable, then we will be replaced by somebody who is more dependable. So for example, if you are a contractor, consultant, an employee even, if your employers or your clients cannot count on you to do what you need to do, then they would find somebody else to do it. It has been said that no one is indispensable, and without you, people manage somehow. So if you are not reliable, there would be others who are more reliable who will be used to replace you. But the challenge is that we must make ourselves so dependable, so reliable, that it is very difficult to replace us. I have a friend who commented that some people are so reliable, you can count on them so much, that when they are not there, you need a committee to replace them. And that is the sort of position we should put ourselves, where even though we cannot say of ourselves that we are indispensable, and really that is not a good thing to do, but we should give off the best whenever we need to, wherever possible, so that in the event that we are not there, it is not so easy to replace us. So that people will think twice before they think about not doing business or trading with us. Now, being dependable is one of the most common characteristics of all successful people. In terms of the general characteristics, it might differ from person to person, from one situation to another, but dependability is core in terms of the critical success factors that many and most successful people do demonstrate and show. They are prompt and make good use of their time. They keep to their word when they say it, so they say what they mean, and they mean exactly what they say. Successful people are consistent, so you can always find them in the same place doing exactly the same thing. One of the striking things that if you go to some advanced countries, and that was a shock really to me when I first traveled to Europe, that for example, if you pick a particular bus or coach or train at a particular time, you probably would find the same people there all the time. And there'll be people who never miss, except if, of course, they are unwell or indisposed. And that is a general character that successful people show. They are stable, they are predictable, and under the same circumstances, they will do the same things. Some will wear the same coat, all the time, so predictable. Now, collectively, these characteristics define or are described as being dependable. On the other hand, we are undependable if we are noted to being late or being absent, and always finding an excuse as to why something has not been done or should not be done. Now, people who find themselves in these circumstances would often lie to cover up their absence or their lack of action. Now, lying to cover up one's inadequacies or not being present in itself, adding to the flaw of not being dependable. But it is quite an easy temptation to fall into. There are cultural dimensions and social dimensions of not being dependable, not being punctual, for example. So there are whole societies, sometimes entire countries, where almost nothing, it's difficult to generalize that nothing, but almost nothing. So you go to public events, they don't start on time, they don't finish on time, even national events. And there are some of these cultures and societies where, for example, an event is supposed to start, say, at 2 o'clock. It is common for people to give 12 o'clock in the hope that people will come almost 2 hours late anyway. So if you give 12, then we can start at 2 as predicted and expected. But there are, on the other hand, societies where events start on time and finish on time. So, for example, public transport is not 1 minute early and 1 minute late. And people from the other end of the spectrum, when they visit such countries, are almost in shock. When you get to the train station and the train is supposed to depart at 10 past the hour, and at 9 minutes past the hour, 30 seconds, the train doors are shut. 10 minutes past the hour, it takes off. And I believe that societies that are noted for not being dependable, and it is systemic at a social national level, will need to work on this to be able to achieve the success that those societies that are built on being dependable, on punctuality. And I can mention examples like in places like Japan, in Germany, where they are very systemic and very punctual in the dealings, and that almost seems to reflect in the big success that is seen society-wide. I mentioned the cultural dimension of dependability or the lack of it. But should we give an excuse that because it is social, it is at the level of the society, so we can't afford not to be dependable? But the answer is no, because we must take personal responsibility for being on time and for being dependable. Because when we don't do these things, then valuable time is wasted either in people waiting for us or in people who need a service delivered by us having to look for alternatives because we haven't delivered. We wouldn't overcome this habit until we show or we see the effects that it has on people. So if somebody gives a contract and you don't deliver, the person is going to be disadvantaged. And sometimes it's going to have to pay twice to get the same service done. And if this happens the first time, no matter how good you are, the person might choose somebody else another time. So to enhance our dependability, first of all, we must recognize and realize that our lack of dependability affects others. We shouldn't gaslight people into thinking that their feelings don't matter, that it is not a big deal, but after all, I produced it, even if it was a little bit late. Let us realize that if people say it hurts, it does, and they lose, and so we should be on time, we should be more dependable. What that means is don't promise and give your word. Don't promise, to make an appointment if you know you can't. And if you are not planning to be there, then don't give your word. If somebody is asking for a job to be done, your boss, a client, and you know it cannot be done, it is helpful, even if you are going to lose the job, the contract, to say upfront that I would have loved to, but unfortunately within the constraints of time, this cannot be done if you want the best, and then leave the person to decide. If the person does not give you the project, the contract, all well and good, because then your integrity is intact. But in many cases, if you are honest and sincere, you may end up getting the job anyway, as long as they know that you can't deliver when you say you will deliver. Dependability and punctuality are two very critical factors and characteristics that need to be developed. Some of the benefits that we derive from being dependable and punctual is that people believe in us. They believe in our words. They believe in what we say we can or we cannot do. And people will say of us that this is a responsible person, one who keeps their word, and one who is dependable and predictable. You can't count on them. These are excellent attributes that anyone can say of us. If this happens, we become the go-to person when things need to be done. And that increases our integrity. And integrity has been said to be one of the most important, if not the most important, characteristic and quality that we need for success. Now, in concluding, let us remind ourselves that dependability is a powerful character trait that brings other great attributes with it. Says Robert Heinlein, ability is a wonderful thing, but its value is greatly enhanced by dependability. Unquote. So even though ability is important in the quest for success, dependability probably is more important. It has been said that he who is dependable is like the sun. It is there even when the storm is raging. And I finished with this quote from Paul Thoreau, who says, and I quote, that gain a modest reputation for being unreliable, and you will never be asked to do a thing. Well, that is about all that time would allow for today. Thank you very much for your time with us. I hope you found this video useful. And if you did, I will encourage you to subscribe to this channel and to click the notification button so that if we do publish more videos, you will be one of the first to know. Please do share this with your friends, and I hope that you will keep coming back for more. Thank you very much, and all the very best.